this is 2 mil, or I can't remember what's
Something a little different about it.
yeah, it's narrower than what you have on your main campus. So if you're thinking you can bring the main campus product out here, you might, it probably won't work.
Right.
This is the pit for the Linux. We built a dance floor over it because it's a 1 foot recessed pit for where all the guts sit for the Linux.
Okay.
This is just someday. There's a Linac active on the other side of the wall. This is a future expansion Linac.
Oh, okay.
So they aren't putting anything in here right away, or right away could be next year, who knows, but in the meantime, here's your home.
We'll clean it out.
It's just that little room.
Yeah.
Worked great for a shop for now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, till everybody else uses it.
And that's all we can do is try and carve out some space, and that's why we talked through leaving the shelving all in here, because,
Yeah.
beats having a pile of boxes on the floor or something. So.
They didn't talk about using this as a casting room, so you may want to set up shop sooner than later.
Sure.
Because all the casts they use for the linear accelerator, I think they have to have an area to store it.
Oh, sure. Well, and I mean,
Yeah.
we could, if they needed half the room and we kept that, that'd be all right. We'd still have plenty of space. So.
It's more than what you got now.
It's not as noisy as the penthouse either.
Well, and getting stuff up and down those steps is kind of you want to work on something that's kind of a bear.
So, it's code requires signage. So here's your display. You'll have the full user manual when we turn it over. So you have a partial open, because this door takes like 10 seconds to open. So when you're moving in back and forth, you just hit partial and then open halfway, and then the full open. It's the green button. Rich can go through all this with you. But there's an emergency override hand crank on the inside and the outside of this door. But this has a UPS on it as well as is on the battery. This thing's not being tested, is it?
So
It would
we'd
say
hope the
it
lights
used,
would all
right?
be on and stuff. And we'd hope there'd be somebody in here. But, so this isn't going to be something that you guys do a lot in. And if you do have to work, you obviously have to get these folks, blessing that you're in there. But it was more to show you, it's got this huge, what doorway's like 5 tons or something, some ridiculous number. And it's all on all power open and whatnot.
So there's a beam here and 2 columns on either side that support the door. The door, this is a $120,000 door. So the maintenance on it is something that is Nelco supplied, and it's something that I would recommend every 6 months you get it greased and oiled and just make sure it's working properly, because obviously this is a big producer of income for the clinic. So if this thing would go down, it would be a bad deal for everybody. And they're out of New York, but they have local service reps.
Alright, so they're gonna come and show us what anything needs to be lubricated or anything, or?
I can call them and, because they have,
Card, anything,
Yep.
any
Okay.
information.
Yep. Basic maintenance on it, or whatever they want.
This would be one of those kind of one-off. We don't have a lot of this
Right.
anywhere else, so if somebody could either come or definitely make their
Yep.
numbers available.
Yes,
Yep.
yeah.
So we'll send Nelco information, see if we can get them out here too.
Yep.
Because they're going to want to send you a package, and I thought we bought a year extended warranty or something like that, or additional maintenance as part of the negotiation. This is not a noise, is it?
None of the lights.
Okay. So you have the override buttons in here too. This panel right here is the override. What's in the stock? I'm pretty sure that's what that is for this door here.
Emergency override?
I think this is what they use when they're if they're, if the patient would get panicked or something like that.
Yep. Claustrophobic or something?
Yeah. This thing is cram packed above the ceiling. So you have this box out here is also shielded. So this is your only direct entry vault in your fleet. All the other vaults are maze vaults. But the maze vault has a secondary barrier where you walk through the maze. But this doesn't have that. It's smaller and more compact. So above here is lead line shielding for the ductwork. It's open on this side. So it comes through the primary barrier here and turns this way, and then all the utilities go that way.
I'm sure their staff will be educated on.
Yeah, the safety features and
Yeah,
so forth.
yeah, they'll be all educated.
So that's if that red light's on there and this light, I think it says usually there's a flashy light. So if we're not clear, it won't close. See, it says safety here. Somebody's in the way. There you go.
Yep, there you did it. You got too close.
Good job.
So it works.
Oh, now it's gonna open all the way.
I suppose in case somebody's in there,
Uh-huh.
safety features built in where they'll get squished.
Yeah. Well, that's about it for the vault, I think, that you guys need to know. And then we can go outside and look at your geothermal well vault.
Okay.
We won't be able to get in there today, but I can show you where it is and then where it comes into the building. Landscaping and irrigation. Is Winona gonna come out at some point, or what's our thought on that?
No, they weren't scheduled for
Okay, because eventually you guys have to set up your sprinkler settings, right, unless you gave that to Winona already.
I thought I heard that the hospital is actually gonna take care of our landscaping. I think we're paying.
Okay.
I think I had heard that the hospital, they're gonna do the mowing and they're gonna do the snow and they're gonna do, well, I think the snow is being done, we're both using the same contractor, but I think the mowing and that,
Okay.
I don't know absolutely for sure, but yeah, I guess if,
I think they do it now.
yeah. So, but as far as the landscaping and the irrigation, yeah, I guess I don't know either.
You have to set the timers, because the timers would be on your building here.
Okay.
Now's a good time to see what's yours and what's theirs, because they don't have their grass in, too.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can just go outside if we're all clear. We'll close this in. Okay, move. Is it down?
No, it's still moving. There.
Pretty dramatic. So the majority of your window shades are manual, but there are some power shades. I think this is one of them here. That should be similar to your main campus, so.
No, Bridget.
Well, in the restroom, if you're standing in front of the toilet, I was just in there and didn't flush. We ran into a problem where they were coming, their sensor was coming upside down.
Mm-hmm.
in the unit. And you said you ran into multiple
Yep.
spots where that happened, and that just had to happen here, so that might be an issue.
So adjust flush sensors and toilets?
Yeah, which that you can adjust them, but they can flip them upside,
Mhm.
flip them over, and then they get them more in range.
That makes sense. Good to get those now.
So, yeah,
Yeah, there's a bunch.
he doesn't wanna be going around changing.
I got a
it's-
bunch of stuff written up for you already, don't worry.
Adjust flush sensors, okay. It's good that we have this time, before occupancy to kind of work out some of these bugs, so we're not trying to do it with patients, so. Anything you see that looks out of place, we're more than happy to take care of it.
We're probably done with plumbing now.
Yeah, but like you said, you have I don't have my card on me, but,
Do you wanna see Any of the irrigation or the geothermal stuff?
Oh, yeah. I'll
Or
check
we were
it
just
out.
gonna walk
Okay,
through it? I mean,
yeah,
as
let's
long
do
as-
it.
So we're adding a handle on,
Related.
we're adding a handle on this door because right now there's no handle, that's the only way to get in and out. I think we have to go out the back. We turned off all those.
Oh,
Yeah. This is,
turned it off.
this is your water room here. This is where the total water will set up. So you have one back for perimeter here, right?
Okay, this is gonna be all RL.
Yeah. Then you have two loops that go out and they loop underneath the floor to each of the chairs.
The water for the RO system.
And you can see they're running their pipes right now. I mean, the cabinets are open there, so we might as well stick our head in Reno so you can see what that looks like underneath the cabinets.
Still get it all in there. Yeah, I know. That's a lot of this we're gonna learn as we go.
Yeah.
Front and back, all the way over there.
Oh, okay.
That's where you must have maybe here.
Good deal.
So we're gonna pass that one shut.
All good? Awesome, thanks.
So oxygen supply room is here. This is plumbing, right?
Medical gas, yeah.
Yep, so we're replacing this manifold cause that was set up for, high pressure and we're getting two liquid tanks now in this room.
So it'll be a combination of liquid and then some bottle too.
Then back up for trouble, yep.
Did we ever figure out, like, so for dental too, you know, I know we already bottles are in place and that kind of stuff, but we had spare so they'd have spare bottles.
Mhm.
Do we ever figure out where we're gonna store those?
This is such a small closet up there, I don't have
Right.
any idea.
And I mean, it wouldn't necessarily have to be up there, I mean, they could be stored here and wheeled up there.
There is that little room, there's actually where the compressor and stuff is, that's
Okay.
behind the oxygen room. That would be a lot more convenient if you needed to switch a bottle out, but I don't know what the code, because you have to have two, but this is only for a certain amount of oxygen, that room upstairs is not rated.
Well, okay, he's probably gonna know the best of anybody, what the ratings are for rooms.
Do you know how many,
Cubic.
square feet the room is?
It's maybe 4.
Upstairs?
Yeah. Right, is 1 foot deep or 2 feet deep by 4 feet wide, so 8 feet.
And you wanna put oxygen in?
It's already got, it's just spare.
Well, so dental has its own oxygen and stuff upstairs. And, the problem was, there obviously has to be some backup tanks somewhere, stored somewhere. And I don't know if the room is big enough to store, you know, the operational tanks and backup tanks. And maybe we don't need to have as many as we had before either, would be the other side of it, you know, maybe it was overkill what we had. But,
Yeah, they don't use a lot.
Sprinkled?
Yeah.
Oh, should be fine.
Is it where that vacuum is?
That's-
That's pretty tight
No,
in there.
it's up in front of that actually.
Okay.
We can go up there after this too, you know, since we got.
and so, again, I haven't seen, I know the final plan was to put 2 liquid tanks in here, and I think a 2 or 4 bottle.
6, I think.
Oh, 6 bottle, okay,
It's
back
all
up.
on this, all
Alright.
all there, then here, I thought.
And then typically we'd have some backup to those tanks, you know, so someplace to, if you've got 6, then we need 6
Really?
spares. Well, I mean, cause otherwise how do you ever change it out if you can't put a,
Well, the liquid tanks are primary,
Right.
and the high pressure tanks are backup.
I'd have to defer to one of the places where we have a Reno elsewhere. I just don't know off the top of my head, but it seems to me that they have, you know, if you've got some high pressure tanks, you need some high pressure tank backups to be able to ever switch them out.
Okay.
You know, otherwise, those go empty, now you're waiting on the truck to show up
Mm.
to put new ones back in their place.
There's been probably 50, 60 emails on this room
Oh,
alone. about what is appropriate oxygen and,
Well, that was.
but now it's gonna come down to the people actually have to sort it out, so.
Part of it, I guess, if you will, was my fault, because I brought up to the fact, so, you know, I saw a preliminary drawing for this room, and I said, well, that's nowhere near enough oxygen for what they're doing. And so I did the legwork, found out how much is in one of those tanks, how much they're gonna use, and it was like, you know, we'd be changing those tanks every day.
Right.
And so then it was, well, we need this to be liquid. And then it was, well, is the room rated to handle that, because there's a ton of cubic feet in a liquid tank.
Yeah.
But this room is designed actually beyond, it's the top level, it meets the top level of design, so you can almost put any amount of gas you want in there.
It's 1 hour in, it has the exhaust.
It's got
Yeah.
exhaust on it.
So, anyway, so then it was just a matter of trying to figure out where you get it all to fit, so.
Mhm.
But,
So, if we wanna take a look at, the Reno water boxes. So these countertops are a little bit different than what I think you've seen in the past. They slide off like this, cause these have to be, you know, you have to have access to those full time. And then the water box will go right here. There's a drain under every box.
so that countertop, obviously it's upside down now.
Mm-hmm.
Gets flipped over, slid into that hole, does it get caulked in then or something, or? No, it's just a,
They have to maintain access underneath all these counters in here.
I suppose there's no real water on top of the counter.
Right.
No, I was thinking water rolling back underneath there and getting, but there's no real water on top of the cabinet, so.
I think that, we went through a couple different designs here where it was hinged at some points. I think in other places, like in Alaska, you have hinge tops maybe. But they didn't like the hinge tops because then you end up with a bigger gap for to breeze and so forth to clean. Because this one tucks underneath there and it's pretty clean. But when you have to take it off, it's kind of like putting together, I don't know, Rubik's cube or something like that to get it to fit back together. So Tetris, that's what I was looking for. So you can see this too here. So all these they all come off. I don't know if we landed the best design. I don't know if if I would recommend this, but it seems like we'll see as time goes on if it works or not. It just.
Access is always good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not having to come back later. Cut a hole big enough so you can get an arm in.
Right.
Yeah, I think where you can actually slide the top off, that's quite a bonus.
So we can look at the geothermal, where the geothermal comes into the building here. Med gas shut off is right there. The valve. Yeah, you haven't asked it?
I think so. Yeah, I heard about this too. Yeah. Something works out.
We did end up boxing it out. Was that your comment? There was no lid in there originally, but now there's a lid in there with the sprinkler head.
Oh, no.
I questioned, I'm like, well, there's a sprinkler head in there, it's pointed down, and there's no way for the heat to build up, it doesn't really work. So GeoLoop ran the pipes up to here, so that would be their warranty from there out to the field, and then Cooley ran the pipes from the valves up into the building, so they can talk about pathways and so forth when they get here at 11. You can go outside and look at, I can at least show you where the valve box is, where it's more of a tank, where all loops come in.
Oh, sure.
These are wells drilled?
Yeah, I think they're 390 feet deep and there's 92 of them.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
I'm thinking that myself. I was looking on these here and then, when we got this.
P disconnect. Then there's your drain for the sprinkler system. Yeah. But right now we're tempting for the backup generator with a transfer switch on the generator, so until our battery shows up.
And the battery
Sits in the where
no?
this obviously this is your transformer and CCE, right? And then this is the battery enclosure. It's basically the same size as what the generator would be. I didn't see a sprinkler box over there, did you? For like a where the timer is for the sprinklers, or is that all is that on your, does that reside on your automation system? It's not that fancy, is it?
Well, it probably could be, but I doubt we asked it to be.
Okay.
I guess I didn't look that close in that.
In the water
In
room.
the water room, in the corners and stuff, to see
Yeah.
if there was a timer in there. But yeah, that or,
Is it in the ground? Is there one in the ground right here? Because I think it comes off. That's it right there, right?
yeah, that's going out. But you would think there'd be,
They got
oh yeah,
wires
here's
run in
wires
there.
run. Yeah.
I'm thinking it's in the room.
Okay,
Yeah.
we just missed it when we were inside.
Yeah.
So this is shut off for what?
The PV, so when the solar array on the roof.
Yep.
So when the utility demanded that this is here, so if they come and have to work on the transformer, that they know that they're not getting fed from the building out.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a false positive though, because if you look at the one line, there still could be power in the system, I'm pretty sure. We argued with them for days about why it was necessary, but
And then how does the battery feed back into the building? Or is that gonna be
we can look at the one line, it's easier to describe it that way, but the battery sits.
wait for Rich?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The battery sits
I'm
right
sure
over
the
there.
fire department's gonna wanna know how that operates,
Mhm.
so.
Well, I saw a train here, so I think we can probably grab them and get started, right?
Are all these doors to our master then, or?
They should be. I just bought 100 keys for Carl. It's funny, I asked for keys for gates, and then I'm like, why did the changer have 100 keys on it? Carl got sneaky and.
Well, and I mean, that's like, we're gonna end up adding some things to the building, essentially, that you need for the building.
Yeah.
I mean, ladders, all these kinds of things that should be something, we're doing it in Winona. We thought ahead to, so we're talking through doing that. Any of these sizable buildings that we build,
Yeah.
it should be
Setup
figured in.
equipment,
Yeah,
yeah.
it should be in the project. I mean, hand tools not so much, but the ladders and whatever miscellaneous stuff. So,
Vehicles.
huh?
Vehicles.
Vehicles. Yeah.
You're having an operational versus construction budget that I don't care to weigh in on.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
They might want to check this. Yeah, off that third joint.
Make a note of it. All right, let's go inside and we can check it to see if we can find the sprinkler box, and then we'll grab Train and have them do their gig.
type of cable, so.
That's it. But I think we need some training from Winona. We have them on the agenda, just not for today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything we missed today, you guys can just say, we'll set up another time to try to get miscellaneous bits and pieces, but that's where it is. Alright, I saw the train guy walk in here, but do you have his number by chance?
I do.
No.
I do.
You do? Alright.
Thank you.
Yeah. We thought it was a roof leak and we spent a lot of money trying to chase it down, but it was coming in through this. These weren't caulked in correctly, and it was running down.
Is that where that ran across that beam down on the second floor?
So, you know, wherever you have a caulk joint, it's always a maintenance piece that you should keep your eye on, you know, as it shrinks and expands. But think about it, I mean, all the way over there underneath that beam is right here. It was leaking the roof right here.
Yeah. But we saw it that last time we were here when we walked
Yeah,
through.
they said they'd already changed out the ceiling tiles once already.
It took a lot of man hours to track it down, but
So can you show us exactly where they caulked, just to know?
I don't know
Just
where to watch.
exactly, but I think it's this perimeter right
or who
here.
would know?
I wonder if they took this all off and caulked back in there, but this is such a sloppy caulk job.
It amazes me that why would it have run from here all the way over to the? Yeah, I mean.
Those aren't primary though, I think those are secondary.
Or as infrequently as we take these screens out for our purposes, I think. Put a really nice big piece, just, you know, you can always take a knife and cut it if you gotta take that screen off. But that would,
bottom, you can just peel it back and come back.
yeah.
It's funny how they split up.
I think Jeff will know because he got the cost of it.
Oh,
Of the
okay.
leak, so he might know where the cost is.
Okay. Well, it would be, so Jeff meaning one of the guys from,
Cooley.
oh,
Cooley
well,
Jeff,
if they
yeah.
caulked it, let's ask them. It'd just be good for us to know if it starts leaking here.
Came home last night, moved up the interstate there, and here they're working on a bridge down there, and they got it down to one lane with a stop.
So, you know where this caulk joint was that?
You know where the caulk joint is that Craig caulked out here at the louvers?
No, I do not.
Okay.
No, I do not.
Remember that it was leaking down in there, and then I think Cooley had to come out and, Lediger had to come out and caulk these louvers in.
I don't know
Okay.
there, Peter.
Okay.
All I know is when they were out here doing the roof out here, was that was leaking down on Second.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all I remember.
Okay.
No, I
Okay.
don't.
This would make a really
So we have a landing pad here,
landing pad. There you room for a helicopter.
right here. So we reinforced this area here to take more weight. This is high density insulation. You can see the square where it's done.
Okay.
So when you have to fly stuff onto the roof for the penthouse or anything like that, so you want to keep this as, you know, obviously you want to put down plywood, still protect it, but you're not going to smash the insulation.
This is designed to be able to
What?
crane or
Yeah.
or helicopter, or however
Not
you
a
get it up
helicopter,
here.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Don't land a
Red
helicopter.
leg, yeah.
We had to do it for their air handler, so we figured we might as well just leave it and do it right, you know? So,
Okay, so Ledinger, you think I should check? So Ledinger,
Craig from Lediger, yeah, I can call him too.
all right.
Yeah.
That's an important thing for us to know, just
Yeah.
because if it would leak again, we
Well,
don't
over
have
the
to.
winter, freezing and
Yeah.
thawing out again, you know,
Yeah.
that's where you're gonna have a problem.
Well, and I mean, 3 years from now, when it's expanded and contracted enough times that the caulk starts to let go on one side,
Yeah.
it'd be nice to know to be able to come back and caulk this seam. So,
And you can see, you can get up to the roof from right here in front of the boiler room, and then you can climb up onto the penthouse roof from there. Yeah.